Hello and welcome to a very special nasally episode.
Don't make fun of me.
I will make fun of you constantly and frequently throughout this episode.
That's fine. This is fine.
I notice you're not talking a lot. Is it because of your nasally?
No.
Okay, all right.
I'm just waiting for you to do your thing.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Infinity War episode. This is going to be a very spoiler-filled episode.
Yeah, a lot of spoilers coming up. So if you
haven't seen it, seriously, back out now.
hit pause,
Yeah.
don't back out, hit pause,
Yes.
go watch it, and then hit play.
Yes. Like, immediately after you finish watching,
Yes.
hit play on this podcast. You've been warned.
My name is Lindsay,
My name is Connor.
and this is the 8-Bit Idiots sort of
Infinity War 10.5 edition.
just a little special extra.
I'm gonna call it the Gauntlet edition
The Gauntlet edition.
of our podcast.
Fair enough.
You know how things bring out special editions. Yeah, it's gonna be called the Gauntlet edition.
We should have discussed this beforehand.
Why are you not okay with that?
I think it could use some work.
All right then.
All
Whatever.
right, we're going to launch straight in because we were sort of talking about it beforehand. We had to keep cutting ourselves off because there's so much to talk about, but we want to put it all into a podcast
Yeah.
rather than just like rehashing ideas amongst ourselves.
Yes. So where do you
So-
want to take it from?
Well, I watched it last night, so I'm fresh off the Thor arc, if you will. I'm going to cut that out. I watched it last night, basically, but I watched Thor Ragnarok for the first time
Yes.
yesterday.
Yep.
Like a couple of hours before I watched that.
That's pretty good because those two movies pretty much
They
back to
they
back.
flow straight into each other.
Straight into it.
But it was also really bad because you've got this big like jubilant. Oh no, Asgard's destroyed, but Asgard is where the people is. Oh no, the people are all dead.
Yeah, the people are dead.
Straight away.
I thought that was hilarious because it didn't just happen in Infinity War. It happened at the end of Thor.
Sort of, yeah. Like
Well-
in the post-credit scene of Thor, like their ship's sitting there and they're all like, "It's going to be smooth sailing from here on out,"
It's gonna be all fine.
yeah, and then Thanos' ship just pops up behind him, like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Like they couldn't even give him the end of the movie to feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
It just slapped him in the face. It just went, yeah, nah.
That's sort of Loki's fault. Like everything in Thor.
Anytime Thor's involved, like, and there's a problem, it's almost Loki's fault.
Yeah, like if Loki had have just left the Tesseract, I don't know, it may have been destroyed by Surtur. It may not have.
I don't know. To
Well,
be honest.
I feel like if Scarlet Witch can destroy it, blowing up a fucking realm would destroy it.
Yeah, good point. So, like everything that happens in Infinity War is Loki's fault.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well,
Almost.
it sort of is. He sort of brought the Avengers together back in Avengers.
Well, that's a
Everything
good
is
thing.
Loki's fault.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, I'm just
the
saying. Everything is
Avengers.
Loki's fault. Like everything.
Yeah. 100%. But now,
Yeah. All right. So, relatively speaking, now I am finally up to date with my superhero movies, except for Justice League and Black Panther.
yeah,
They're the only two outstanding for me.
yeah. I'll touch base again with Justice League. Probably. I'll watch that again with you.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Probably going to be next on my list, seeing as I can't get my grubby little mitts on Black Panther anytime soon. All right. So, Infinity War. What do you want to start with? Do you want to do positives, negatives? A compliment sandwich, if you will.
Yeah.
Do a positive, do a negative, do a positive.
Ah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah. No. Sure. Positives.
Okay, so
It's a good movie. To start off with, plain and simple, good movie.
was a good movie. Quite fairly enjoyable. A very big pickup from Age of Ultron.
Yeah, very much so. Like, Age of Ultron was a filler and definitely just something used to set up further characters, which we've mentioned here before. So, as far as a team-up movie, very good. You can sort of count Civil War as a team-up movie, but it sort of didn't have the gravity, as an Avengers movie should.
Well,
I want to say.
yes and no.
Yeah, yes and no. So this one was very good to sort of reignite my love for the
The franchise.
franchise. Yeah, Like, I've always liked it. I'll always watch the movies when they come out, but this is really, got me a good feeling.
I've mentioned it before in a previous episode. I really started to die off with these movies.
Yeah.
I was just, the interest wasn't there. Like, I'm interested in seeing them, but I'm not going to go out of my way for it.
Yeah, because it's over flooded as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. And they're all good to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no outright bad movie. So they're all good to some extent.
Yeah.
So, but, that, it just brings it all down to a level of mediocrity rather than
Exactly
greatness.
Right. Yeah. So I think with this movie, it's really turned that around. Hopefully it can carry on from that.
Do you want to do some specifics?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what do you think about the characters in it? 'Cause we've got a lot of...
Josh Brolin did phenomenal.
He did.
I reckon. He did very, very good.
As far as Marvel villains go, they're far and few between for a good one. Well,
yeah.
I would say the bad outweigh the good villains.
Yes, I'd agree with that. But generally, when they've got a good villain, like, they've got a good villain. Like,
Yeah.
people froth Loki. He's not really a villain, but
No,
people froth
not
Loki.
as much as he was, but people frothed him. I think the same will happen with Thanos.
I actually don't think there is any incredibly memorable villains for me. Like, they're all memorable, but there's none that, like, stand out in my mind.
I think a problem with that is killing them at the end of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
that's a big problem. It's not the way the comics have always done it. There's obviously deaths in comic books, but the thing with a comic is there's always a way to bring them back.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think with the movies, the deaths are more final. Not, however, in this one, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, well, I think that's more because I think movies are a lot more finite than comics.
Yeah, well, they sort of have to be. Otherwise, they'll be at it forever. They're already going to be at it forever.
Yeah,
it is.
I'd say 100%. Batman's got no fucking code of ethics that stops him from killing people, but he has got, like, resale value. That's,
It's fine. Just redo it. Just reboot it. That's...
Yeah. But Josh Brolin did incredibly well, and it's actually making me a lot more excited for him playing Cable in Deadpool as well.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I would definitely say I'm more excited now than I was originally for Deadpool 2.
The thing I think about Thanos is he's a real villain. Like, he's not this all-powerful, untouchable villain where you can't even land a punch on. Like, there's scenes in there where he almost loses.
And that's great. And I think, they're some of the best scenes.
Yeah.
To see, like, all of these heroes that we know and love come together and, and almost take him down. Those are some of the coolest scenes put together in the movie.
Yeah, and that's what makes him, like, a real villain, because he's just someone that something bad happened to. And now he's on a quest to change that.
Yeah, what do you think about motivational changes from the comic books?
I wouldn't know, to be honest.
Wouldn't know?
No.
Okay, well, just as a little background, in this movie, he's just got the goal to, balance the universe pretty much because of his history and what happened to his planet. In the comics, he is in love with the actual being Death. So he's just trying to sort of please her by killing a bunch of people.
Funny that Deadpool's also in a relationship with Death.
Yeah. So it's weird.
I suppose you got to give it more of a motivation than that.
I think it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Like, I heard that when I heard that the first time, I went, that sounds like I can't get behind that villain. Like, that version of Thanos.
I can. Easier.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, my favorite villain's the Joker, bro. Like, you think he's got a reason for doing shit?
Yeah, that's true. But no, I really liked motivation. So he was a real good character to get behind, and he's the big baddie. He's what, this universe has been sort of building to since the Avengers.
Yeah, I've got to say, in terms of that, like, they've basically been building up to this since, probably Thor, Captain America.
Yeah.
I don't think they had it in mind during Iron Man and Incredible Hulk, and then I think during Thor and Captain America they finally went, all right, let's build up to
Yeah,
something.
with the introduction of the Infinity Stones, the Tesseract would have been first in.
But essentially, 10 years now. They just had the 10th anniversary, so a little under 10 years they've been building up to this.
Yeah.
And I'd say it didn't really disappoint.
No, it's surprising. Like, for something to be built up for that long, it's one of those things that, is quite incredible that they pulled it off.
I think you mentioned it earlier, like all the stars coming together, all the heroes coming together. I think that was done very well.
Yeah, it was and it wasn't.
Like it wasn't. It wasn't. Like it didn't feel forced, is what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I think
had the same thing when I watched The Defenders, and they all came together for the first time in The Defenders.
Yep.
That didn't feel forced. That felt natural, and that was good.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want like some fucking chance meeting as they're walking down the street, or I don't want like, oh, we just all happen to be on the same planet together.
Yeah.
Let's team up.
I think the way, like, how they got away with that is because the whole group doesn't meet up at one point. It's sort of split into two halves.
Yes.
Like, you might not think about it, but Iron Man doesn't actually see Captain America at all in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, he goes to call him at the beginning, but
Thor doesn't see Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's how it's been done. If they were all together, it will happen at one point. I have no doubt.
For sure.
Probably
there's Infinity War Part 2.
Yeah, probably at the end of Infinity War Part 2, I would dare say. And that'll be fine, that'll be fun. But I think because they've split it,
it feels better.
It feels better, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
if they tried to put all of them together, it would have been very tough. And that was one of my biggest worries about it. The only thing I think felt forced in this was the Hulk landing in Doctor Strange's little place.
It is a little bit weird, actually, now that you say that, because, why would Heimdall pick that particular
I don't know if
location?
Heimdall picked it or if he just picked Midgard, and then...
It's hard to believe that, like, with the stress that Heimdall, like, he was stabbed at the time, wasn't he? Yeah, and, like, all of that he could go, this dude that I've been watching...
This dude who we've got no idea about.
Yeah, he sees everyone and everything, but it's not like he would be like, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Unless maybe, like, not even Tony Stark. Like, he might be pinging it for Tony Stark's location.
No, I don't see any connection that would possibly be that. Of the entire planet of Earth for him to land on, he lands on the most fucking heavily superhero populated city in the world.
Yeah, so it is Manhattan, isn't it? Yep.
In Doctor Strange's own little home. That is the only forced connection, I think.
Yeah, now that you say it,
everything from there is very fluid. Even the likes of Spider-Man rocking up, very fluid.
That was great, actually.
My only qualm with that is, they see this kid crawl out of a school bus and then swing away on a very popular, or like on a very busy bridge. Surely someone would go, well, he's probably a school kid at Midtown High.
Well, yeah, but I would wager that any villain or, any crook who meets Spider-Man, especially like even if you think about the bank scene in Homecoming, I would imagine that they would figure that he'd be young.
Yeah, but school young, I don't know.
No,
there is short
see
people out there.
I'm one of them. Yeah. So no, I can't. Yeah, I thought that as well, but then I went, no, he is a very young character, even with the mask on.
All right, let's just run through the introductions of each character then.
Okay.
Just to get a feel of who, and we'll also talk about like who did well in their roles.
Yeah.
So Thor.
Straight up.
Obviously, you're introduced to him straight up because he just gets fucking rolled.
Yep.
Loki gets killed off.
Yep.
Heimdall gets killed off. Basically, Thor gets exploded out
into space.
Yep, and you're not seeing him for a while. And then Hulk fights Thanos toe to toe,
which I was really looking forward to. That was great.
I think that would be. Yeah, so I think Hulk's little loss to Thanos there was a big contributor as to why he didn't want to come out. Like, Hulk's never had a loss like that.
Yeah. Even facing Thor in Ragnarok.
Yeah, he still won thanks to the Grandmaster's help, but, Hulk thinks it's him that won.
Exactly.
So I think that was a big contributor to why Hulk didn't come out in the entire movie. Or maybe Mark Ruffalo just felt like he needed a bit more screen time. I don't know.
Did you like that fact? Like,
No.
because he was grappling with it throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
At, I think 3 different points.
Yeah.
It happens.
No, not really.
No.
You're there for the Hulk. The Hulkbuster is a nothing. It's nothing to me. The Hulkbuster armor. You know, like some people got super excited about it when they saw it in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And then again in Avengers Age of Ultron, everyone was like, "Oh fuck yeah, Hulkbuster!" And I'm like, meh, that's nothing to me.
I've always sort of seen it as it's just like a way, like, because in Ultron, does he actually knock Bruce Banner out? It's only after like plummeting through a skyscraper, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So that's the only way. Like, you know, I've always sort of seen it as just it's like a delay method to keep the Hulk down. So I've never seen it as like this big great.
Yeah, I'm not that excited by it,
for it.
basically. So I'd rather see the Hulk, essentially. But I think maybe they did it because Hulk had more screen time in Thor than Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I would say so.
So maybe they're trying to balance that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Hulk plummets to Earth. Heimdall sends him to Earth using the last of his power, and he meets Doctor Strange and Wong.
Yep.
My boy Wong.
Yeah, he was good.
And then basically tells him Thanos is coming. And here's a little thing that I didn't wholeheartedly like. He goes, Thanos is coming. Doctor Strange goes, who? And but like previously in Thor, he brought Thor and Loki to him and goes, I keep an eye on people that sort of interest. I'm like, surely you'd know about Thanos then.
Well, one would think. I mean, he has.
Like, I know Thor and Loki's been to Earth before, but considering
that's probably all it is.
But considering Doctor Strange knew Odin's location in Midgard, even though Odin had no real connection, didn't make noise like Thor and Loki have.
You got to think, you know, in comparison to just Thor, Loki, Odin, like them to the humans, they're still considered gods almost. Like they're not. They're not in the Marvel. They just.
Well, they are.
They are, but they're not. Like.
They are, but they're more realistic as soon as you meet them.
Exactly. But, so they're still on that level, as opposed to Thanos. Yeah, he has like wiped out a couple of planets and all this sort of stuff, but like really the alien side of it is not explored much. I wouldn't say he'd be keeping tabs on just aliens out there in the world. I'd say he'd be more looking like Thor and Loki have come. Loki is an issue. He's come to Earth before. He's threatened us with an invasion. That was him. That was him doing it. All right, I'm going to keep a close eye on these Asgardians because they clearly have a connection to Earth.
Yeah, I guess.
I would say that's what that is.
Anyway, you met Doctor Strange. He goes, all right, let's call Iron Man, I guess. Iron Man rocks up.
I'm so disappointed that, like, I don't know. I wanted even more, like, bickering from them two.
Nah, I thought it was a good balance.
Yeah?
Because one of the biggest issues they had in Thor, one of the biggest complaints people had was the comedy. Like people thought,
Ragnarok you're talking.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. People thought it was too comedy, too Disney, too jokey, and all that sort of stuff. And I feel like that's a tight line to walk.
Yeah.
And so I think it was tasteful the way they did it.
Well, for me to be honest, the main thing I wanted from them two interacting is like a comment about their facial hair. Because they've got the exact same goatee.
Yeah. I guess. I wanted some sort of comment about how, like, Tony Stark... Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about Tony Stark getting an arc reactor on his chest again? Like, sort of arc reactor, but it's not, but it is.
Well, it is.
Well, it is, but... it's not like...
Well, I've read the comics when that happens, so I've got no real, like...
Yeah, it's just...
lenient.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, it is what it is, sort of thing.
I'm trying to think. What has he got? Like, he just doesn't have anything in his chest.
No. He had all the shrapnel in his chest surgically removed.
Yeah, that's at the end of Iron Man 3.
Essentially, each suit has its own power source now. Same as how War Machine Iron Patriot runs.
This nanotech suit is just like another version. Like, it's just a carry around suit, basically.
Yeah, I can't remember how... it's done in the comics. I think in the comics, it comes through his pores.
Yeah, it's in his blood, I think.
Yeah.
It's and it actually comes out of his body.
Yeah.
But I think this is not more realistic, but I think it's an easier way to visually do it.
Yeah,
As
for
opposed
sure.
to saying, yeah, this is coming from inside of him. That would just raise too many questions outside of comic book world.
Yeah, it's just easier to do it this way, and I think it works fine.
It's been done before in Black Panther.
The only problem with that is like the size of the arc reactor.
Oh, it's
You're like,
tiny.
How does it hold in just that small section? How does it hold like an entire suit's worth of
Nanobots, bro. Nanobots.
Anyway, then they get into a little tiff. Spidey rocks up.
Yes.
Well,
yes, yeah. So you see Spidey, he is pretty much first responder to the big
thing
ship.
In the big donut in the sky.
I'm going to call it a burger ring.
Sure.
I really, like, just visually, I thought that shot was amazing. Of him hanging off, like, as he's going up in the atmosphere, you see him, like, rip off the mask and you just see, like, Earth below him.
Yeah.
I think that's just so cool. Like, that's poster background worthy.
It was a very good scene.
Very cool.
Anyway, fuck that. It all comes together very well.
Yeah. I think there are a little too many characters.
Yeah, there's too many to go through. Which, like my biggest worry was that they all wouldn't have good amounts of screen time together or individually.
Yeah,
I feel like they did.
I was satisfied with most of it, but there were little things that I thought should have had more screen time. Like it was already the longest.
Like Spider-Man.
Yeah, not even.
Spidey should have had more quips. I find like there was a lot more focus on Tony Stark than there was on Spidey.
I sort of, I don't know.
That's just a personal thing.
Yeah, I feel
like he's got some good ones where Doctor Strange is like, yeah, I'm Doctor Strange. He goes, oh, we're using made up names, and I'm like, ha, it's funny because it sounds made up. But
yeah,
it's his actual name.
It's his actual title. No, I think because the whole movie, he's pretty much out of his league.
Yeah, I guess.
Like it's not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's holy shit, Mr. Stark, I'm in space sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess.
So I'm okay with like him tone back because the whole time he would just be sort of.
There's something I want to touch on with that, but I'll save it for when we talk about the ending.
Okay. I was gonna say just with time and characters, interacting and all that sort of stuff. There's just a few things like
go on.
One, Bucky when he gets his arm. I wanted more from that. I really love Bucky as a character.
Yeah.
So and I love the Bucky, the Cap, everything. Winter Soldier is my favorite movie, Marvel movie, still to this day. I think that's a great movie, and I wanted more of like, oh, here's your arm. It's something little, but
yeah, like he could have, I don't know, picked up an apple and crushed it or something.
Yeah, I don't know, anything. Like,
something
comment on how it's now made of vibranium.
Yeah.
And
here's your arm. It's not silver anymore.
Yeah, try blowing this off, Mr. Stark, fucking I don't know.
That sounded gay.
I did actually.
Not that matters. So what was your other point? You said you had a couple of little gripes.
Just certain things I felt they needed to be a bit,
a bit more fleshed out.
Yeah, fleshed out and expanded upon. Stormbreaker, for instance. That was, I get what they were trying to do with it. Like, he made it and that was it. And then it's sort of like you don't see it until he's actually using it again in combat.
Yeah. I
would have liked maybe a bit more, maybe an interaction with
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage looking at it, talking about Groot's arm as the handle now,
Yeah.
Yeah, more time dedicated to that. They can't do it. It's a big enough movie as it is.
I actually found towards the end of the movie, I felt rushed a bit.
Yeah.
Like rushed through it. I thought it was very well paced, but it was still rushed because, you've got so much content to get through.
Yeah. Well, speaking of pacing, it was pretty action-packed. There were a lot of fight scenes in this. It was pretty much scene-to-scene action. But
there was about one sit-down and talk scene, and that was basically between, like, Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Yeah, exactly.
And Rhodey talking to the council.
Yeah, but both of those scenes don't equate to long, really.
Yeah.
So, that I found that really fun. That was good. There was less political intrigue about it. I liked that when General Ross was coming in and, saying you should arrest these, I liked that they brushed that past so easily. Rhodey's like, yeah, whatever. And then that was it for the politics of the whole Civil War, backlash for the rest of the movie. That was good.
Yeah.
I didn't need any more of that. I just wanted action heroes, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. So I mentioned it very quickly before. One of the biggest problems that Thor Ragnarok had was the comedy in it.
Yeah.
I think what happened there is the director...
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that right, but yeah.
I think he went, all right, well, we're going to be in a similar world as Guardians of the Galaxy, so let's give it a similar feel, a similar theme.
Yeah.
And then went too hot and heavy on the comedy, which, like Guardians of the Galaxy was, like James Gunn made it. But James Gunn had it crafted specifically in that world. Like, Thor's got a different feel to it. Thor's got a different theme to it, so you can't just rip...
Yeah, and also,
feels.
like, Thor has had 2 standalone movies, not to mention featuring in other movies as well. So, tonally, it is very different. Whereas James Gunn had Guardians, and he could, you know, he
went straight.
He went straight into it, and that's the first impression. So it's okay for Guardians to do that.
This brings me to my point. The Russo brothers, I've loved them for a fucking long time, ages before they were even considered by Marvel. And then they did a fucking phenomenal job on Winter Soldier. As you said, it's your favorite movie.
Yep.
They smashed Civil War.
Yeah.
Like they basically made Avengers Age of Ultron look like shit.
Yeah, they really did.
And now in this, what they've done is they've turned around and they've basically combined Joss Whedon's Avengers 1, how good that was, with the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy, how good that was. They've combined the both of them. And they have walked a very tough line to sort of bring those two together, but they fucking nailed it.
Yeah, the payoff for it is, well deserved. And it's funny to think, that these two guys are now, the big guys in the Marvel Marvel movie game.
It used to be Joss Whedon.
And now it's the Russo brothers. Like you say you've loved them for a long time. They did Community. What else did they work on? Curb Your Enthusiasm? No,
that was what's his face from Seinfeld.
What is it? That other show, Arrested Development.
Yeah.
So that's where they've come from. They've had their roots in comedy for ages, but they can still pull off these stellar.
They also did Happy Endings, by the by.
Oh, there you go. Good show. So they've done a fantastic job, and they deserve every bit of praise.
So I think that's where a lot of their success comes from, is they were able to take Joss Whedon's feels, take Guardians of the Galaxy's feels, and just make it a very unique sort of
and they've managed to combine it really well, so that when you're moving from group to group and scene to scene with different people, it's not jarring. It's not, it's not like, oh, these are 2 different movies, because Guardians is such a weird group compared to the other guys.
It's not jarring, but they each have their own unique feels. Like down in Wakanda, Captain America talking to T'Challa had a completely different feel to Thor talking to Star-Lord. Or Iron Man and Star-Lord, or Iron Man and Doctor Strange. They were all unique interactions, which was fantastic, especially since it didn't feel like you're watching different movies, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, speaking of things that they've handled really well, these guys, villains. We've talked about how good Thanos was, and
Oh, you mean Thanos' little squad fam?
Yeah, he's fam. Yep. Hashtag. They're called
the Thanos boys.
Yeah. So they're called the Black Order, which isn't really touched upon. Like,
they refer to themselves as the children of Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not much fleshed out about these guys. If Gamora
in the MCU,
in the MCU, in this movie, in anything prior, they haven't really been seen. So you can see Gamora would have been a part of this crew. If she.
I don't think she was.
I think she would have.
She was separate. She was her own. She was like... So, to refer it back to Star Wars, she was like the Emperor's assassin as opposed to part of the Stormtroopers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
That's how I would reference it.
Yeah, alright. That makes sense. So, anyway, these guys are awesome. Like, for me, I found them really good sub-characters.
I found them weirdly overpowered. Like, they were fantastic characters, but it's sort of like, well, if you've got this guy that can fucking control anything with his mind. You've got this dude who just can't be killed by fucking anyone until like 3 people come together. I don't know his names.
Yeah.
The dude with the spear who stabs Vision like 5 times.
Yeah.
You've got that guy. What the fuck? Like, what's he using Gamora and Nebula for? Like,
He clearly loved Gamora.
yeah, but
Nebula is just his little pet fucking project.
I'm building a robot.
Yeah, he's bit of fucking Lego.
Yeah, it's his C-3PO.
Yeah, exactly. I built it, and I could take her right the fuck apart. That was horrible to look at. When Nebula's all taken apart, Jesus. But I can't remember all their names. But the chick, I loved her. I want a solo movie based around her. She was
pretty chill.
She was sick. And then the guy who couldn't control things and do magic, he was awesome as well. I liked a bit of humility getting put on Doctor Strange a little bit. I like how he's just, because at this point for Doctor Strange, even though he's only had the one movie, I mean, if you look at him in Thor Ragnarok, his powers and his abilities have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
He has become,
he's already calling himself
the Sorcerer Supreme.
Calling himself that, the master of the mystic arts.
Yeah, it is pretty evident, when you look at it, he's doing stuff, pretty fluidly.
Yeah.
So his skill level has jumped up since his solo movie.
I did find straight away in that fight, like, you can tell he's at a disadvantage because he needs to do hand movements and get shit set up.
Yep.
And this guy's just like,
and old mate's just
beam.
like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I
I'll throw a
don't
car
care.
at you.
He's just like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I do this all day, mate.
I like that.
So, I and not to sort of, rag on other movies because, don't get me wrong, I love Justice League, but if they can make, and it's a meme I've seen floating around, they can make these secondary villains more interesting than, Justice League's main villain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know anything about these characters, and I instantly loved them.
I think that's just the choice of direction. The directors themselves. Yeah. That's always a big issue with those sorts of things.
Like I said, they handled it well.
Yeah.
To not have one outshine the other. Because, when you introduce multiple villains into, any movie or anything like that, it can be hard to juggle them all.
I feel like the dude with the, like, extendy axe did get outshone a bit. The big dude.
Yeah, the big dude. Yeah, he was just sort of a nothing.
Yeah.
It's
he's just a big guy.
Yeah, it's like in Man of Steel. You've got Feora, you got Zod.
Yeah.
And then
the big guy.
You got the big guy. Like, I don't even remember his name.
The big guy.
Yeah, it's the big guy. Like, he does like 2 things and that's it. It's fine.
Just a generic, the big guy.
Yeah. So they did have that. What else you got? You wanted to talk about, I don't know.
The plot? So the plot for me was a bit, as I said earlier, it was a bit rushed because I feel like everything's been building up to this. And then all of a sudden, Thanos just goes, all right, well, fuck it. I'm sick of waiting. I know I'll do it myself. Yeah. He goes, I'm sick of waiting. I'll just get the stones now. I just feel like it's not, I feel like it's just rushed.
I kind of like it, actually, to be honest. No, don't get me wrong. It is rushed. Even with it being split over 2 movies, I can only,
I feel like there's been 5 years since Avengers, right?
Yeah.
In that 5 years was the first time he tried to do something about Earth.
Yep.
And I don't think he sent his Chitauri there just to fucking kill a bunch of people on Earth, right? I understand that's sort of what he did, but he's already started collecting these stones. Like, he's got the Power Stone. He gave Loki the Mind Stone, so he's got at least 2 already. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's already starting to collect them.
The Mind Stone was in the staff?
Yeah, 100%. That's why he gave it to Loki.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, he 100% knew.
All right.
I guarantee he 100% knew.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he gives Loki the Mind Stone. He's got 2 stones. He's already started collecting them, right?
Yep.
And it takes him 5 years to go, all right, well, fuck it. I'm going to do it in a couple of days.
Well, it's
He just puts his ass in gear and all of a sudden goes, yeah, let's fucking go.
I don't mind that because, he had Gamora searching for the Soul Stone, and she, failed him. And then, he's had, like, sort of people out there trying to get it. It's sort of like as if he is just waiting for them to go, it's here, and then he's like, fuck it, all right, I'll go now. I'm on it.
I just feel like a couple of days though. Like
I love it. I love him going out and just going boom, 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 knocking it down. That's awesome to me.
It just feels so rushed. It just feels like, okay, well, 5 years have passed. I'm getting a little bored.
That's what it is. It's like he's finally just gone, fuck, it is. I'll do it myself. That whole thing is just like,
I guess
that's how powerful this character is. Like, but he can still be brought down, which is the good thing. Like, when they're on their own, and the Avengers aren't teamed up. You know, they're not organized and cohesive. When it was just the Guardians and who was it? No, Thor wasn't there. It was Quill. When they went to nowhere, the skull.
It's just Quill, Drax, Mantis, and Gamora.
Yeah, like when they went, he just fucking fucked with him. And
it was funny.
Great.
My partner, like, he got stabbed and everything, and she starts crying. My partner's like, do you think he's actually dead? And I was like, no, honey, he just got the reality stone.
I see. Yeah, I love it. Like, I love the fact that he can just knock through whoever, but when they team up and,
they still get their ass kicked.
They still get their ass kicked. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it just felt like, all right, I'm done with this. Let's just fucking 10 years is enough.
Yeah.
We've got to this point. We've finally brought him on screen. Let's just fucking make it happen.
Well, yeah, it can sort of come down to... No, it's more like... For reference, Lindsay clapped his hands and I clicked because of the whole
the click.
snap of the fingers.
Anyway.
It's a bad joke on my behalf.
It was.
No, I think most of it comes down to the fact that in the other movies, they can't really do too much. Otherwise, they'll be losing plot for themselves. Like, so they can't spread him getting the Infinity Stones out over a couple of movies.
But they don't need to spread him. They can start sending his Thanos boys out. I'm going to call them Thanos boys from now on.
All right, the Thanos boys.
Yeah,
like that would have been good.
The Thanos.
Now that I think about it, like if you could have, so when Guardians dropped off the Power Stone off on Xandar, I want to say. Yep,
they were on Xandar. He tried to sell it on Xandar. He didn't. He went to the Collector then to give it to the Collector. Then the Collector's little bitch fucking grabbed it, blew herself up, and half the Collector's stuff.
Yeah, no, and but it went back to Xandar.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah, he does actually mention that they destroy Xandar to get it.
It would have been cool to have that. Maybe, I don't know, at the end of one of the movies or something like that, have one of, the Thanos boys.
Yeah, make it a post-credit scene.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. You could have it go for a minute, 2 minutes even.
Or make like a post-credit scene of them, or make a bit in one of the movies of them fighting off the Thanos boys, but not getting it. And that's what requires Thanos to need to go and get it.
Yeah.
But then you've got like Mr. fucking Swish and Flick over here, who's just goes, oh, I've never failed him. Okay, well, if you've never failed him, why haven't you gone out and gotten all these things earlier?
Well,
that's what annoys me.
You can only assume that he hasn't been asked to.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what annoys me. Like, if it's this thing that he gets like super impatient about, which you can see him getting impatient about it by the end of the movie, and to me, like, it's such a big deal for him to get all this shit. It is such a big deal.
It is his life.
He kills his daughter.
Yep.
Like, he kills the only thing he loves. This is such a big fucking deal for me. Why has he waited so long to fucking do it? If Mr. Swish and Flick has never gone out, I don't know his name, the telepath.
Well, you don't know.
Has never gone out and fucking failed him before.
You don't know. He might have been the one to go to Xandar and sort it out. You don't know.
But that happened just before this set of events as well. Like, that. All I'm saying is, why has it taken him so long to put his ass in gear? Why didn't he at least send the Thanos boys out to go and do something? That's all I'm saying.
Preparation on
5 years.
Yeah, but
5 years
it's coming
for this thing that's such a big deal that he kills his daughter over. The only thing he loves, like, this is obviously the biggest deal in the world to him, but he still takes 5 years to fucking get his ass in gear about it. He's like me with my life.
I can't put it down to plot.
That's all I can put it down to.
No, the only thing I can put it to is the creators and their direction and how they You know, I mean, they didn't have like, they were building to Thanos, but
that's what I'm saying.
This wouldn't have been a clear cut.
It takes me out of the movie when I think about the fact that it's the director's choice, the creator's choice, all that sort of stuff. Like if I'm in there, I'm being a part of the story. I want the story to be near 100% believable to like keep me sucked into that world. And when I'm sitting there thinking, well, what the fuck have you been doing for 5 years? Like.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
That's the thing that annoys me. So unless he's been chilling on Sakaar where time moves slowly, yeah, that's a little Thor reference because I watched it yesterday. Unless he's been chilling there where time moves slowly and 5 years have passed, like to me, it's just not coherent.
Yeah, I'm very good at ignoring plot holes and shit like that.
I ain't.
I'm very good at it. This is why Batman v Superman is still my favorite superhero movie. Like it tops everything, even Captain America.
It's all these little like I can ignore massive plot holes, but little plot holes.
You're gonna love Justice League then.
But little plot holes like get to me, like stuff like that. Like Thanos starts growing hair by the end of the movie.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that.
That fucking annoys the shit out of me.
So what scene did you notice? Because I didn't see it.
I start noticing it when he's about to kill Gamora. You start noticing it there. And then when they film the scene where it's like baby Gamora, after he snaps his fingers, gets all the stones, snaps his fingers.
On the water lake thing.
I noticed distinct stubble. Very distinct stubble.
On his head or his...
On his head.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm either led to believe that Thanos shaves his head...
I like that thought.
Or that the costuming was just like, well, we've shaped his head that much this movie. We can't keep doing it. He might get ingrown hairs or something like that. And again, that takes me out. You know what I mean?
No, I like to think he shaves with the Power Stone or something nowadays. He just...
No, he's got the Reality Stone, so he can just wipe it off.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Well, maybe it was just lax since, because he was in that little dream. He didn't have the concentration to keep the Reality Stone keeping him bald.
But you know what I mean? It's like, it's little details like that I can't explain that take me out of it. It was the same when I was watching The Force Awakens and there was no fucking familiar aliens, which had been in every single Star Wars thing from then on.
Yeah.
Every single Star Wars thing previous to them had all these familiar aliens, like
throughout
Twi'leks
all
and
6
everything.
movies.
Yeah. And even the shows, man, like even Star Wars Rebels, which was a new design, had a Twi'lek in it.
Yep.
All these familiar aliens, none of them were in Force Awakens, and that wrecked the movie for me.
It's still continuing in Last Jedi,
and
but
that's wrecked the movie. All I'm saying is little things like that take me straight out.
You want to talk about little details that take you out?
Oh yeah, you've got something.
I've got something on costuming. All right. Now you haven't seen Black Panther.
No.
But the costuming in Black Panther is pretty good, considering most of it is CGI.
Yep.
Even in Civil War, his suit, his on-set suit looks crap, but they just have it as reference.
Yeah.
So that when
it's the same with Hela in Thor Ragnarok.
Exactly.
She mostly wore like a motion capture suit the whole movie.
Exactly. So, but prior, so Civil War, his suit looks sweet. In his own movie, his suit looks sweet, as it should. Yep. In this movie, he's wearing fucking pajamas, man. On your next watch, everyone, have a look at Black Panther's suit. From the head up in any shot, you see what he's wearing. No CGI has been put onto it. Nothing is there to make the suit look better. It looks like a child's costume that you get from Kmart or Big W. It shits me.
Yeah.
Costuming is one of my favorite things to talk about and look at. I love anything behind the scenes because I'm really into that. Like, I don't cosplay myself because I know I can't make it look that good.
Yeah.
So I just don't.
I'm the same. Like, if I'm going to cosplay, I don't do those shitty little, like, thrown together pieces or, like, the ones that you can just buy straight from the internet. I want something good.
I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
So costuming in a movie, to me, is very important.
Yeah.
And this it killed me. Every time he was on the screen, I couldn't look at literally anything else but his shitty little fucking pajamas, man.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I don't...
Like, it's such a small thing.
I didn't notice it too much, but I haven't... It's been a long time since I've seen Civil War, and I haven't seen Black Panther yet, so...
Yeah, well, I was just watching some reruns, on YouTube of Civil War, and it looks sweet in that.
Yeah.
And I only saw Black Panther recently as well, so... it really... That took me out of the movie.
All right, so we're starting to run out of time, so we're going to roll straight on to the ending.
The big bad ending.
Yes, the ending that most Marvel fans probably... there was probably a few tears around here and there.
There would. It was quite heart-wrenching.
For me, it didn't land.
No, not really, because the whole time I'm sitting there going...
It's not actually going to happen,
no,
though, is it?
No. So what I've actually seen post-watching it, obviously... Facebook,
Facebook's been pumping hard.
It's been pumping hard. Any like sort of geek related website has been pumping the shit out of this, which is understandable, of course.
Yeah.
But like, most of the articles I'm seeing are like, oh, the directors and the creators have confirmed that not all your characters will keep coming back. No, like.
So for me,
what's your impression of all the deaths and who's coming back? What do you think?
All right, so I've got 3 opinions on this. One, they made the cardinal sin of killing off the characters because now if they want to bring them back, like I'm thinking Loki, for example, if they want to bring him back, they've got to do some stupid little plot point that nobody ever believes in. Like, we always like it in comics because it brings our favorite characters back.
Yeah.
But you don't fucking believe for a second that it's anywhere near legit, or it's not an enjoyable comic to plow through. It's not an enjoyable movie. The Resurrection movies are not enjoyable.
No,
ones.
it's easier in comic books because it takes longer generally.
Yeah.
You've got month-to-month releases, and sometimes it won't be until a whole nother series is that character brought back. So it could be years later.
So I reckon it's a big sin to kill off popular characters, let alone heroes, without... And, like, you saw the backlash that happened. Phil Coulson died. Coulson. Like, he's an important
fun enough character,
but he's nothing.
Yeah.
Phil Coulson died. They bring him back in the TV show, and there's uproar.
Yeah, I don't...
It's stupid.
I don't believe... Like, personally, I don't believe in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. being associated with it, because I heard that, and I just went, nah, he's dead. That's dumb. Yeah. I don't believe anything. I can't watch this and say that they're part of the same universe.
If you kill off Loki, if you kill off Heimdall, you kill off all these characters,
Gamora,
you better either not plan to bring them back, or you better do it in a good way.
My thought with it,
and I'm speaking this in a separate thing. Like, I'm putting them 2 categories: the people that died, the people that gets wiped out by the Power Stones. They're different. They're separate.
They are different. Okay, so for me, it's the people that died prior to Thanos using the Gauntlet to kill everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
They will stay dead.
I'm unsure about that. I feel like they're going to be the ones more likely to... They're the big deal ones, though, that I'm talking about, like Gamora.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm not sure about that.
I'm sticking to that. That's what's going to happen. And then everyone who died from the clicking fingers... They're back. They're fine.
I reckon there's going to be a convenient little time wipe. Like, Doctor Strange will get his hands on the time stone again and go, whoop, 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 whoop.
Just like the whole
wipe it all
thing.
back. Yeah, it's like, this never happened, actually.
This whole movie has been wiped from the existence.
Record scratch, freeze frame. I bet you're wondering how I got here. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me. The guy with the Eye of Agamotto.
And it's so... But for me, the reason that ending didn't land, you just released an Ant-Man and Wasp trailer. Everyone's happy. Everyone's fine.
Oh,
in the Ant-Man and Wasp trailer.
You don't know because...
I'm not saying, though, that... But the odds of, I don't know, 2/3 of the Avengers being wiped out, those being the half people, and then the fact that Dr. Pym's still around, as well as Ant-Man, as well as his best friend, as well as...
I feel like that could be before Infinity War.
It could be.
Because they Ant-Man and...
But then release it before Infinity War.
Well, I know. But Ant-Man and Clint, Hawkeye, both being stated as being on house arrest.
Yeah,
so that sort of lines up with the movie, but I almost feel... I mean, it could be a thing where they've been on house arrest and now...
It's just for
now
me...
the government's going, shit, we need some heroes back.
It's just for me, don't release any trailers... outside of the time period that this is in cinemas.
Yeah.
Let the heat die off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because for me, I literally watched the Ant-Man trailer before I went into this. And then I just went, well, there's no chaos going on in the Ant-Man trailer.
No.
There's no chaos going on in the Venom trailer, which is set in the same universe because Sony's now in partnership.
Sort of. Yeah. That's another issue. We can talk about that.
But all I'm saying is, like, if Venom's now in the Marvel MCU,
Yep.
because Tom Holland Spider-Man is,
Yep.
then there's no chaos going on because of these things.
Yeah.
So to me, it just takes me out of it.
It
That's
does.
why that ending didn't land.
Well,
And
see, for me, I know that there's another movie coming. So, like, I'm already just like Avengers Infinity War Part 2.
That's my other point.
It's just like,
That's my other point, is fucking Marvel's got themselves in a pickle in releasing their schedule for, like, the next fucking 30 years.
yeah, see, I don't like it. I hate it.
Yeah, so now nothing's going to land with me, because,
No.
like, if I know that Avengers 2's coming, I know that something's going to fix this. Or if I
Exactly.
know that Iron Man 4's coming, I don't know if it... I haven't looked at the schedule because I try to
Because of
avoid
this
these
reason,
things.
yeah.
But the fact that they've released the schedule tells me, you know, this is going to get reversed.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
It wrecks it. But for that exact reason, because of their trailers being released, because of their release schedule for the future, the ending didn't land with me. As simple as that.
I just watch these things and sort of live in the moment with it. Like I said, I'm very good at ignoring, you know, the outside shit to just sort of escape into the world for a little bit. So I just go, oh, that's nice, or oh, that's shit.
I guess it did hit me a little bit. There's a few things that just get taken away from me because I find humor in things more than I find fucking sadness. Like, for instance, when Bucky's getting disappeared, I sort of look at that and I just laugh because his robot arm actually starts to disappear before he does. And I'm like, well, why is his arm disappearing? Shouldn't it just be him?
That's a good point.
You know?
That's a good point.
So I just laugh at that stuff. And then when it was a very sad moment when Spidey's disappearing and he's like, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. And it's been like heavily memed now. And I finally understand that meme. I actually thought that was going to be Vision who that happened to. And he was going to say it to Scarlet Witch. So it was actually a pleasant surprise. But
Apparently that, just as a little thing, that line was improvised. That whole speaking from Tom Holland. So, you know,
good on him.
Props to him.
But I just didn't really feel it because
Yeah.
you did almost the exact same thing in Homecoming where he's about to die and he has this little like freak out moment. Like, for me, that was great in Homecoming because it makes it so real. But in this, it was just like, you done it, buddy.
Well,
You already had that moment.
yeah. Speaking of like stuff that, you know, you just notice and you don't believe. While Scarlet Witch
when she breaks the
when
Mind
she
Stone?
breaks the Mind Stone, I don't know what other people with like I know my partner personally, she was like, you know, yeah, they did it, and I'm just like looking at her going, no, time stone.
My first thought, as soon as Doctor Strange gave it to him, and they were like, and then it'd flash back to Wakanda and like, all right, here's the game plan.
Yeah.
We've got to kill this stone.
It's just like
I'm literally just sitting there. It's like, no, he's got time and reality. He can do literally anything.
Whatever he wants, really.
Like, he doesn't even really need the Mind Stone at this point.
No, it was
that's
just
to make the
I was just
Gauntlet look
watching
pretty.
it going, like, stop fighting, you guys. Just give it to him at this point.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Chuck the Doctor Strange and give it to him.
Just give it to him.
Realistically, if Doctor Strange hadn't have given it to him, everything would have been chill. Because, like, he had the Reality Stone, but I don't know. I reckon the Time Stone would have been necessary.
Well, see, that's the thing. We're never going to know, but we have to take Doctor Strange's word for it. Really, because he
looked into all the
futures, and the only one where they survived.
There was one where they succeed, not survive.
Well, this is that one.
I don't reckon it was. I reckon it would have been one of the other ones, and then it would have just had a better outlook in the further future.
No, I'm of the belief the way.
No, well, if this is that one, why didn't he just give him the stone straight up? If this is that one, he wouldn't have gone through all those fights. He wouldn't have had this big tussle with everyone. He would have just gone, all right, well, here's the fucking stone. Do your thing.
Yeah, but I think I think he wouldn't have seen it, you know, like the opportunity. Because for me, what I got from it is that he was there, Tony Stark was about to die, and I feel like that what Doctor Strange was getting at was the fact that Tony Stark needed to live for them to succeed, for them to eventually do this. I mean, it would make sense, like, as far as production goes.
Maybe.
Iron Man was the first one to kick this off. It would be very fitting for him to, be able to be the pinnacle and the thing that tips it and makes them win in the next movie. So I
managed
feel like
to avoid spoilers for the whole movie, and I thought Iron Man was going to die.
Yeah, see,
especially since RDJ had spoken about how he's not super into being Iron Man anymore.
Yeah.
And so I thought this was going to be a good out for him.
No, I think that'll happen in the next movie, to be honest. Like,
Maybe.
I think there will be something. I hope he doesn't die, per se, because he's already had that moment in the first Avengers.
Yeah, I guess.
He had that whole, nuclear...
sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
And then he did it again, sort of, in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, so, like, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope he just retires and just keeps in the background as a mentor or whatever. But, yeah, no, I think Doctor Strange saw it as, I need Iron Man to live. This must be the way I have to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think in his vision, he saw that Iron Man was the one to do it. I don't think it was like he saw the plan each step of the way for everything. I think he just realized, and like it's sort of as if it clicks, and he goes, "Shit, he's actually going to kill Iron Man now. No, this must be the way. I have to give him the stone at this point to keep him alive."
All right.
You got anything?
I guess we won't know until we know with that.
I know.
So,
well,
last thing, because we've got about 5 minutes left, the post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a nice little scene. It
was all right. Yeah.
It linked back to the actual Infinity War comic stuff, like what the comics, like the comics they pulled from, where like there's a scene where a jet actually crashes because it loses its pilot and all that sort of stuff, and they got that, cars crashing, a helicopter crashes.
It was cool to see it at the base level. Because you sort of see it from all the heroes' perspectives. Yep. So it was nice kind of cool to see the chaos.
It's nice that Samuel Jackson didn't actually get a fuck out. That was cool.
That was funny. I like that.
And then he drops his little communicator device.
Yep.
Which I would reckon 80% of the people who saw it had no clue what it was about.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
No, 80%.
Oh. 80% of the time, every time. I actually really like that communicator because it could have looked like anything, but they made it look retro, which is cool because
that's specifically like a Kree design.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
I think. Don't quote me on that. Don't at me.
Well, my thought was behind it is that Captain Marvel, the movie, is going to be set 90s. We're going to have a young Samuel L. Jackson, which I will be talking about in the next episode, just so everyone's aware. So I was thinking it was sort of like it
could be. I could be wrong.
That's been modified.
I know
definitely
nothing about
modified
Captain Marvel.
by what looks like alien technology.
Yeah, I know nothing about Captain Marvel, the movie.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong. But yeah, I thought it was a nice little touch, and
I was disappointed that there was only one. I expected more.
I didn't actually expect any.
Really?
Yeah, I expected them to go, because all generally speaking, all the post-credit scenes, bar like Guardians of the Galaxy,
they've sort of been
has been leading up to Thanos.
Yeah, good point.
So I thought it would be like this would be a good time. You've got this big dramatic moment. He's killed half the people in the galaxy, and then he goes home and he just sits. I thought that would have been a fucking phenomenal way to just end it. And then, especially, leave everyone with questions. Leave everyone in the dark with questions. Because if you just fucking cut it off there, and everyone sits there and they waits for this moment,
and then it's nothing. It would just sort of be shattering. It'd be like the final,
that would have been a fantastic way to do it.
It would have. But in saying that, it was still nice enough. Like, it was... I think it was okay.
It was a good scene. I would have loved it if there was no scene.
Yeah, it would have been very good for effect.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's give it a rating. Out of 10, what do you think?
8.5 or 9, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there?
Yeah.
Yeah? You going to go see it again?
Yeah. Not in cinemas.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. Yep. But I will definitely watch it again.
Cool. All right. I'm saying a 9 on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes a lot to get to the 10 mark.
Yeah, same. I'm
maybe on the second on the rewatch I might change my mind, but
I'm a bit more generous with my 10s than I for games than I am with movies. You really got to win me over with a movie.
Yeah.
And Josh Brolin's hair coming through. That wrecked it. That brought it down.
Or Black Panther's suit.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, like I was saying, the rushing of the plot is what brings it down for me. Because, like, especially when I'm thinking about this stuff after the fact.
But I would, even though it's a very finite way it sort of ends, I would say its rewatchability, in comparison to more recent Marvel movies, I'd say it's higher.
Yes, for sure.
I there's more chance for me to go back and watch this one than, I don't know, let's say Black Panther.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I wouldn't know about Black Panther, but for sure.
Yeah, just agree with me.
But
for sure.
no, like I totally agree. The likes of just off the top of my head, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Not going to rewatch that.
I'd be more
at least not for a long time.
I'm more inclined to go back to 1 before I go to 2 again.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Just all the later Marvel movies, I'm not inclined to rewatch, and I'm not sure whether that's a time factor because I've watched them recently, or whether that's a quality factor.
Well, I think that is a definitely good place to end it.
Yep, for sure.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our Infinity Gauntlet edition, 8-Bit Idiots.
Ugh.
Let me say that again. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this very special episode of the 8-Bit Idiots Gauntlet edition.
Ugh.
I'm rolling with it.
It's a little in-between episode.
Yeah.
It was meant to only be like half an hour.
Well, we sort of speculated. We're like, even if it's 20 minutes, that's fine. But
yeah,
in the back of my head, I'm thinking, this is a big movie.
I think, like, the problem with it is we spent too long talking about how everyone met each other.
That's true. That was a very ambitious task.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we stopped that early.
Well, anyway, my name is Connor.
My name is Lindsay.
And we shall see you on the next episode.
How do you end a podcast?